And, you know, in a shocking turn of events, it turns out that movies aren't like wine. Just because they take a long time to make doesn't make them any good.
Also,
In 5T.
party. Also, wow, you're totally getting me there. Yeah. Also, just because a movie was great when you first saw it, it might just age like
Yep,
milk.
doesn't mean it's going to be great ever again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know what? I'm kind of starting to feel that way of some of the Marvel movies. It it's so weird that they've been going on for so long.
Did you see Love and Thunder? Like I'm just gonna get away now. I did not see it.
I
I'm
have
hearing it's not good.
I have not seen it, and for no other reason than we're in a time in space where there's a new wave of getting sicky going,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I just don't want to put myself in a confined room
especially right before you and I go on vacation in a week.
where we're gonna
Like
just expose ourselves even fucking more.
right. So there's no point in weakening the old immune system now.
Exactly. Might as well do the drop right now. We will be live at Comic Con next week, end of next week.
Well, we actually get there right in the middle of the week because we have preview night. So
Yeah,
Wednesday
we
we
could do an
will.
episode Wednesday, or I don't know. We'll post more information about it on the tweets. I promise I'll actually do it this time. Um, yeah, I will, and on the Discord, I'll post it there. But yeah, we'll be live at Comic Con one of the days to just talk about the bullshit that we're doing and seeing. Um, Other than that, we're calling this the In Betweenie because that'll be episode 200, the Comic Con episode. It just felt like it would carry more weight.
Yeah.
And this is 199.5. Send your complaints to the P.O. box listed in the YouTube. Um, but yeah, so, okay.
Okay, based on my opening, I kind of want to force us into something because I need to talk about it out loud. Is what
Okay,
needs to
okay, that's
happen.
fine. Take the reins, senor. You've got the talkie stick.
Okay, so Shutter exclusive. You know me and my Shutter exclusives.
Oh,
I'm all about it. I
homie
like my
loves to
horror
shudder.
movies. I like my horror movies, okay? So Shutter exclusive comes out. It's called Mad God. It's from this guy named Phil Tippett, who
Mm-hmm.
is one of the masters of stop motion animation in Hollywood. Like when it comes to stop motion animation, this is the dude. And he has taken 20 years to build his
Oh
passion project,
no.
this movie, Mad God.
Okay.
And it's this really, really dark, really twisted, big time gross out horror. Like if that's the genre, like if you want me to put it into what horror subgenre
Yeah.
bucket I'm gonna dump it into, it's 100% gross out category. Um,
Okay.
Let me do some positives.
Oh my god, when he starts with the good, we know it's gonna be fun.
It's in a grotesque way. It is gorgeous. Do you get what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like the visuals are stunningly horrific, and really shows his attention to detail and his mastery of what he does. In terms of visual storytelling, I feel like very rarely do you not get what's going on. You may not get why the fuck it's happening, but very rarely are you lost. So he carry. It's also completely silent. The movie has no dialogue, just
Okay.
music and sound effects, but you know,
Okay.
no dialogue at all. Um, so everything is conveyed very well.
Okay.
I'm struggling to come up with more nice things to say about it.
Okay.
I really wanted to like this. It looked really cool. The dude is a legend. And I don't want people to get confused because this is reviewing very well in the horror community.
Yeah.
Horror fans are fucking for this. And I should say, I watched it without purposely, without looking at what its rating was. I didn't want to know because I knew this was at least going to be very experimental. You don't take
Yeah.
20 years to make a movie and have it not be a goddamn experimental fever dream of insanity.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how that works. Um, it's not that I didn't get some of the allegories that it's trying to draw and some of the messages that it's
I
trying to
know.
invoke. It's more that have you ever seen Pink Floyd's The Wall?
Yes.
So Pink Floyd's The Wall has lots of metaphor, lots of analogy, lots of symbolism, but it's all very clear.
Okay.
It's all very well told. You get both the story of what's happening in The Wall while also having really thought-provoking
Visuals.
allegory and imagery and
Okay.
metaphor and whatever else, right? Like you the judge who's a big ass with balls, or the flowers that are vaginas, and
Hmm.
it's all pretty straightforward everything.
So, question:
Yes.
does this slip into surreal then? Instead of just allegory, is it surrealism?
No, I don't think so. Maybe to a degree, in as much as like gross out has to kind of be surreal.
Okay, so it's accidental surrealism, is what it sounds like.
So let me get to it. My biggest issue is there's not really a plot until you start dissecting the allegory. The
Oh,
plot
okay.
only exists once you, as the viewer, decide to dig for the plot. It's not
Okay.
there otherwise. Essentially, the first half hour of the movie is a guy. Apparently, he is called the Assassin, although that's never said in the
Okay,
movie.
so
You have
this
to
is
just learn
Dark
that
Souls,
from.
is what you're telling me.
Kinda.
Like, no story, just, read stuff and figure it out.
And there's not even anything to read.
Oh.
So the whole first half hour of the movie is the assassin, the guy, the doll man with a briefcase that you see
Okay.
in the image right here. First, he's being lowered through all of these different levels of this world. It is very
Okay.
strongly implied that it's hell, but again, it's never said, it's never shown. It's just a very awful place with many levels and lots of various tortures being held in the background as this assassin is being lowered in an elevator through
Okay.
all of these levels of the world. Then he's just walking, following an ever crumbling map as he walks. And again, nothing really interacts with him. He sort of acts like he needs to hide a little bit, stay towards the shadows, but nothing over like he's not really being chased by anything. Nothing is seeking him. There's just sort of again horrible things happening all around him. There's apparently a murder brothel that he looks at. There is a big creature with a butcher knife and scabby balls that shits all over these people made of hair.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he's just following this map and again traveling downwards. There are hatches and elevators and cranks and shafts and pulleys and whatever that bring him further and further down
Okay.
until he plants a bomb in a location and is dragged away by a spider monster, and the bomb doesn't go off. Then he's in a hospital filled with other doll people like him being worked on actors that are actually human.
Okay.
Very weird and twitchy. And so there's a big protracted scene of him being dissected. And at first they are pulling out organs and gore and all that. Then they start pulling out gold and jewels and riches. And then they start pulling out books and magazines and poems. And then they pull out a little fuzzy, screaming worm baby with real human teeth in the front of it.
Huh.
And then they go into his brain, and this is where there's an argument online. It is either a flashback to something else, or it is a completely different assassin who has since been lowered and is now on a new mission and is being spied on through the mind of the other assassin. And weirdly, this is the scenario that I buy more.
Okay.
So now we watch as this new assassin. By the way, that whole last bit, the hospital, the gutting, the
Hmm.
looking in his brain, that's about 20 minutes of this movie.
Okay.
So then we watch the new assassin as he rides a motorcycle again through very strange wastelands until he crawls down a hatch. Then we shift entirely, and we're watching a character who is apparently called the Alchemist, who looks like a tumorous ball sack with one eye and beard.
Okay.
And he oh, I'm sorry. There is one more key part. Uh, a nurse handed off the screaming hairy worm baby to a Grim Reaper plague doctor figure.
Okay, with a long nose mask.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
exactly. So then this sounds like I'm just like not describing this very well, and let
Th-
me tell you right now,
This
I'm describing this perfectly.
this sounds like a heavy metal movie.
Kind of.
You see what I mean? Where they just do
Yes.
things and then do more things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then the alchemist has two monsters and he forces them to fight. And
Okay.
then he decides he's done with them fighting, and he electrocutes them until they get boners and puke all over each other and pass out. And then he leaves.
Okay.
And then he puts the worm baby. He gets the worm, like the plague doctor delivers the worm baby, and he gets the worm baby, and he mashes the worm baby in a machine. And then we watch. This was actually a really cool sequence. I loved this. Oh, at some point there's some weird acid trip worms that's a completely, like, almost feels like a different movie. The color pattern shifts entirely, the tone, the music, the everything shifts, and then the baby's murdered by a spider. I don't know how it's relevant to the story at all, but that's a sequence that happens for like 5-6 minutes. So either way, he smashes the worm baby, and then there's this really cool sequence of a universe being born, and then a species, presumably man, being spawned, and then skyscrapers being built, and then a war, and then the doll making starts over again. Because there's also this guy who's called the Last Human, who we see making the doll assassin people and sending them down the elevators, presumably to kill the hospital or the alchemist.
Or blow up hell.
Or blow up hell?
Yeah.
Or something? Because there is a mountain of briefcases that are all ticking, and I guess none of them go off, but then after the universe is reborn and we see that guy again, one of the clocks ticks, but a cuckoo clock comes out, and then the movie ends.
Okay. All right.
So here's my problem. That all just sounded like crazy babbling, and I guess maybe you could cobble together some sort of plot out of that. But remember that all the names that I've said that I feel like give a lot of context to the plot, you don't actually get until you watch the credits. The assassin is also not named in the credits because he's not a character and he doesn't have a voice. So you have to find that through like meta text and plot descriptions on Shudder. And really, once you dig through like a few layers of mind-bending whatever, the whole thing is supposed to be about the banality of human existence. This god thrusts you into this world, and it's largely horrible things happening around you, but not directly affecting you, until eventually you try and do something and ultimately fail.
Yeah. I understood the overarching themes. It's just
But does so and so while all of it looked cool, while that is a fun allegory, while the visuals were spectacular, does it make a good movie? And this is the same problem. Here's where you get some sort of justification while still being mad. You and I famously fall in very different camps on the film Avatar. Blue cat people and fucking trees. You really enjoyed it. I personally say that, yes, it's very pretty, but pretty doesn't make a movie, and for me, it was kind of garbage. Because of how I watch Avatar, I have to look at Mad God and say, is it gorgeous? Yes. But is it a movie? Is it a story? Is it something I can digest? Honestly, no. And can I say it's good? No. Am I going to suggest it to people? And do I know people who I think would enjoy it? Yes. But I can't sit here and stand by it. It's not for me. I didn't like it. I think that's where I land. I might be wrong, but I think I land on I didn't.
I have a feeling that this is one of those films where a lot of people are just going to tell you that you just didn't get it.
1000%.
Like
and all of the comments on Shudder, a bunch of people like, this is brilliant, and if you didn't get it, and clearly, like, I'm telling you right now, I got it at least this much. This was the interpretation I got. I found something, but I can't look at you and say it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Is it an amazing art piece? Yes. I saw it, it's only like 84 minutes long. Bro, I had to break it into two separate days to finish watching it.
It was that dry.
It felt like I was there for a century.
Well, see, that's the weird part because sometimes when you do something like this, it just fucking lands, right?
And even things with low plot, I think, can land sometimes. Dazed and
Yeah,
Confused, super bad, very loose plots, but still landed something.
I know, but you can't do loose plot and then also do vague imagery. Like you
Right.
kind of have to. You can use both elements, but one of them has to be very strong.
So what I brought up to my wife was like, I think a good example of something like this would be something like Interstellar 5555. Now, while you may not love that music or whatever is happening, as a piece, it is a silent film.
Hmm.
Even the vocal parts of their music, it's not really lyrics. It's not really telling a musical story. A
Yes,
lot of it,
it's not.
a couple of the songs
It's not
are, but
Coheed and Cambria.
correct, right.
Yeah,
It's not even Mr. Roboto. It's
that's true.
mostly instrumental stuff with robotic voices, and there's like Digital Love
Yeah.
sort of has some lyrics that tell a story, but not really. And yet, Interstellar 5555 tells a fully fleshed out story with character development
Mm-hmm.
and plot points, and it is developed, where this just felt like um a lot of people talk about this in gaming. Games that aren't games, they're walking simulators.
I was
This was
thinking like
walking simulator.
Dear Esther, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was just a character witnessing horror.
And I fall in the perspective that Dear Esther is a video game. It's
And
just
this is a movie.
it's yeah, it's definitely a movie. I think it's like an art house film.
uh, to an extreme. And actually, so credit where it's due. I
Like
did
what
watch
like a
the
well done, well funded one, right?
yes. And actually, no, he did this largely with favors from friends or students who just
Uh
wanted to help him. And credit to somebody for bringing something this intricate to life.
yeah.
Dear God, 20 years spent on something is an achievement. But I did. I also watched. Totally coincidental. I didn't know they were going to review it, but the Dead Meat podcast on
Okay.
YouTube. Definitely check out their stuff. But they happened to do a review that I caught today of this. So they are both film students, like went to film school much more than I did.
Hmm.
And apparently, this is a genre of film where the point isn't to tell a story. The point is like more to inflict emotion.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and I guess it's kind of an exercise in patience and temperance, while a movie is more just like showing you things and waiting to have an effect on
Mm,
you. And this I don't think that's what he was going for, but I do think that's what he got.
okay. I mean, if that's not what he was going for, then unfortunately the movie is not successful in getting the message off, right?
Right.
So let's call a spade a spade. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean. 20 years on a project, a passion project, has got to be hard once you actually release it, right?
Oh, 100%. And
Like,
there's no way it looks anything like you thought it was going to look like at the beginning
oh,
after 20 years.
what shit that happens to me after 2 weeks
I'm saying.
of writing stuff. Yeah, no, I get that, but it sucks that he wasn't successful. It sounds like the visuals were great.
Well, and what's great is he is successful. People on Shutter loved it. This is Shutter's biggest opening exclusive they've ever done. It had the most views on
Okay,
Shutter of any. So
so
luckily, he's killing it. But for me, man, I really came into this expecting to love it and walked away shockingly disappointed.
wow, I that brings back the feeling of why I haven't played Pokemon Arceus anymore.
Good old Pokemon. Yeah,
Pokemon.
I've been thinking about putting it in, and I can't bring myself to it just based on your and my wife's reactions to that
Well,
one. But yeah,
it's not even
just
that. Just Sword and Shield burnt me.
Oh, I liked Sword and Shield, but it was we went over this on the podcast. It was the first Pokemon game I'd played since I tried Black, but like it wasn't my cartridge, it wasn't my game,
Yeah.
so I didn't really get to play back. And then I think the only one I played before Black was Silver.
Oh, okay.
So I enjoyed Sword and Shield because for me it felt like I for me it just felt like I was picking up old school Pokemon again.
Yeah, we
I
did go
didn't
over
get to
it.
see all those iterations,
But
so for me it felt pretty fresh and great.
my issue was that it felt so flat. Like the Mega Evolution bullshit and all that.
Yeah, that shit was
It was
weak, but
fucking lame.
apparently like they've been trying different things like that
They
with
have.
different but I didn't get to see those. For me, I was like, that's a weird feature. Everything else is great.
I feel like
I
this
didn't
is
know.
that is like some people who hate the GF system.
I love
It's
the system.
I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought the junction system great. Anyways, Mad God.
So, yeah, I want to. We've spent way too much time on me just
Give it a rating.
unfortunately shitting on something.
Unfortunately, it's what we do.
Here's what I'll say: if you're the kind of person who can just be sold on visuals, add a point and a half to this. Because even something with great visuals usually has some sort of plot to go with it, and you have to dig so hard for this plot. So the most I can say is if you can be sold on a lot of visuals, add 1.5 to this, but I'm going to give it a 2. I like Gross Out. I like some of the really fucked up imagery, seeing some of that stuff. Like, I had to laugh out loud and go, damn. And that clearly means I got some sort of enjoyment, but would I ever watch it again? Probably not. And it's hard for me to point at things other than visuals that I enjoyed. So it's a 2.
Visuals and like the gross out factor.
Yeah. You know, like, I don't want my proverbial money back because it's on a streaming service. There was no money spent on it. But I'm not like demanding it back, but I'm not walking away happy with my experience.
Yeah, if you watch this in the theater, would you be angry?
No. Wouldn't want my money back, but still wouldn't be like, that was great. It kind of wasn't.
Fair enough.
Like, here's the difference. That Meet the Zohan, I went and got my money back.
You just walked right out.
it was less than 15 minutes into the movie, and both me and my wife looked at each other and said, "Why are we watching this?" And she went, "I have no idea." And we got the fuck up and we walked out. We were like, "I'll take credit. Give me anything you can hand me. I'm not watching this."
That's hilarious. Which is kind of funny because the only movie I've ever walked out on was Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
Never saw it.
Yeah, it was on Nicolas Cage.
That's why you left.
Penelope Cruz. No,
Good
I like Nick Cage, but it's them and he's an Italian soldier in World War II who gets injured, and someone who doesn't want to take care of him has to take care of him. I believe. And then there was a mandolin involved. Mind you, I walked the fuck out. Yep. I was still like, I was late teens, 16, 17, right? Around there. Yeah. And yeah, I didn't know what to do with that. I wonder if I should go back, but it was so long. It was just so long. All right. Speaking of very, very long. No, I watched like 3 seasons of a show.
And you told me what it was. I think I've started this show and just based on like first episode couldn't get into it. So I'm curious to see what you think and if I should dive in.
Okay. So here's the thing. It has a part of the comedy kind of, genre you don't like. And that's the awkward stuff.
Oh, see, and that might have been because it was years ago. I don't remember why I stopped watching it, but I did, and I can almost guarantee if that's the humor style, I'm out. I hate awkward comedy.
It's awkward. But awkward in the sense where like he's such a terrible fucking person that he gets himself into all these crazy situations. So like as an example, he tries to in one of the episodes. He's already been called out for sneaking in water to this theater that doesn't allow food or drink because it's like a special screening theater.
Okay.
Mind you, he runs in with the rich and famous, right?
Yeah.
Right. So he'd already gotten in trouble for doing something to like the head of a studio's daughter, but not like in a sexy sex way, but just in an awkward like he cut her doll's hair because she asked him to, and they were like, "You're a fucking grown up. She's a child. Why would you cut a doll's hair? You know it doesn't grow back, right?" That kind of thing. That's the setup. So later on, he's in the bathroom, the woman's bathroom, because again he's super entitled and a bad person and fucking goes in there, and to not get caught, the little like he hears somebody coming, he sticks the fucking water bottle down his pants. Then the little girl comes in and thanks him for fixing the doll situation and hugs him and goes, "The bald man has something really hard in his pants," as she runs out very loudly. And it's very awkward, and he has to try and sneak out the window.
Yeah, I'm not into this.
But you see what I mean? Where, like, it is awkward. I think the parts you would enjoy, and at this point, I'm talking about it, right? It's the segment. It's awkward comedy, but it's fucking dry humor. It's all these situations, like, I would say it's a cross between like The Office, which I know you didn't like,
Did not.
and
The second thing you don't like.
Arrested Development.
A second thing that I don't like.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that kind of thing. And
Okay.
I jammed through it, 3 seasons of it, because I had it.
Is that all? Is that all of it? Is that all there is?
No, there's more.
Okay.
But I feel like 3 seasons in a weekend is.
Oh yeah, no, that's aggressive.
Yeah. It's because I was playing Metroid the whole fucking time. Basically, anytime that I didn't have to be outside and be adulting, I was inside playing Metroid because I got back from camping, and I was like, I just need time for myself now.
Super fast aside, I had a friend ping me this week and be like, "Hey man, are you into camping?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "No, but like like we can your wife can go rock climbing and we can go do these hikes." And I was like, "Look, I don't do the thing where I sleep on the floor outside ever unless I lose my house. But if I can bring like a mattress and there's beer, I'll sit at the campsite and you guys can go do whatever you want."
Yeah, that's where my life is now.
I don't fucking camp.
I went camping, but my happy ass drove because I'm a little redneck now.
Ew.
I got myself a truck.
Ew.
Because the area that I live in, apparently you need one. And by need one, I mean I have wood to carry and other shit to throw out. I live in an area now where there's winter. So my tiny city SUV just wasn't... Actually, it held fucking up, I will say. I built shelves. This is a thing I'm doing now. Anyways, long story short, I have a truck. So the camping was me driving somewhere, picking up a rented RV to go glamping and pulling that son of a bitch to the campsite. I had power. I had water. The only thing I didn't fucking have was internet.
My wife will not do that.
She won't stay in like a RV trailer kind of thing.
She'd stay if like somebody else brought it, but if we're going camping, she's gonna be like, "That's not the point," and then we're gonna sleep in a fucking tent. So I'm at least bringing an air mattress.
Yeah, definitely do that.
I'm not sleeping on the floor.
Depending on how many days you're going out there, invest in power banks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to be fucking bored. Unless you're going to a place that has power, and at that point you might as well be glamping.
Right. No, we'll be in the woods or something.
But anyways, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know. I liked Arrested Development the second time I tried it.
Okay.
The first time, I fucking quit. Like,
Just a hard no.
3-4 episodes in, I was like, I get it. I just don't understand. And I just turned it off and went on and did fucking something else. So with this, I feel like I'm there. I don't think I want to go back. There were some hilarious setups, and I feel like if done a little bit less dry, would have been a solid piece of TV.
Okay.
But it just it tries. I don't know, man. It's not bad. I know people love this fucking show. I think it's won a bunch of awards. I just like it was good for background noise, but Metroid Dread, holy fuck! I just want to say I'm not quite done. I'm literally at the last boss, but the way that I fucking played the game was all wrong. I did the collectathon, and
Yeah.
I went for all the secrets until I couldn't get any more. Then I'd get the upgrade to do that. But I didn't do all the bosses until I absolutely fucking had to, which led to me having like 3 fucking bosses in a row, and I just burnt the fuck out. I was like, nah, I just need a fucking break. My thumbs don't do that anymore right now. Which is probably wrong because I downloaded Hades afterwards on the Switch.
Oh, Hades is a blast.
I so far I'm enjoying it. I like that it's not completely roguelike. It's more like Dead Cells, which I really enjoyed as well.
Yeah.
I'm still figuring it out. The health system is weird. There isn't
The
really
only
one.
downside to Hades, you have to beat that game like over and over and over again
Okay, to get everything?
to get the plot.
Oh.
You have to beat the final boss several times. I'm at a point where I just regularly have to keep beating the boss while also making friends with the other gods to help further the plot of that game.
I don't understand any of this because I've only played 30 minutes of it.
Okay, yeah, no, but
Did I
there's
just
only
did I just step into a fucking rabbit hole? Is that what you're telling me?
yeah.
Okay, how is this Dead Cells bad of a rabbit hole? Because remember, you can beat the guy, but you're not really beating the guy.
See, I think I beat Dead Cells once because I played Hades first, and I was like, not again! And so I beat it the once, and then I didn't beat it again.
Oh, that's funny. No, Dead Cells was also one that I had to just step away from. So I'm taking a break from Metroid Dread. So I don't think I will go back to this show until I go back to Metroid Dread, which
There
will
you go.
probably be in a little bit. This is why I knew Cuphead wasn't going to be my deal. I know I'm all over the place, but you really wanted me to play Cuphead. This has cemented my, I don't want to play Cuphead. Because I understand that a lot of these bosses were basically the exact dynamic that Cuphead is made for. And I was just like,
sort of.
platform timing and memorization.
Yes, but I would say that there is some nuanced difference that I think set Cuphead much higher over Metroid. And again, you don't have the pain of having to do any sort of level before you get to a boss. You just walk there and go, that one, and then you fight that boss.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. I actually enjoyed the leveling up bits in Metroid a lot more than I enjoyed
that's
the
not in
boss
Cuphead.
fights. That's what I'm saying. Because the boss fights were my least favorite part.
Maybe because Cuphead is multiplayer, you and I can play it together, and since I've already beaten it a couple times, maybe you'd enjoy it more with both of us doing it.
Yeah, that would be one. We also have to play Tiny Tina. I know that you're probably already finished it, but we should still.
Oh yeah, but I'm still in to do a second run through with you. All right, let's wrap up. Oh no, you still got a little bit more time. Talk Curb it up. Curb Stomp.
Curb Stomp. No, so Curb Your Enthusiasm. I like Arrested Development better. Again, I might need to go back and rewatch this. I think where it loses me legitimately is he is such a piece of shit. Where like
See, that's almost where you're selling me, because I just got done rewatching You're the Worst, which is a movie that hits me right in the heart because I feel like the two main characters are me at different points in my life. They're just awful people.
But the problem though is he's the worst. He's just awful. But it's a combination of him being awful gets him into all these like crazy situations that he then has to like work his way out of. But if this was accurate, especially in Hollywood, he wouldn't fucking have any friends. his agent basically fucking enables him, right? Like,
Okay.
which is what an agent does. But
Yeah.
but with how much bullshit the agent gets put through and how unsuccessful in the show he is, it just breaks fucking it
Mm,
breaks the what with the suspension of disbelief. It just
yeah.
breaks it because I'm cursed, right? You and I know a little bit more about how the
All of
kind of
that works.
back end of Hollywood works, right? Like, look, I just couldn't. It did take me out, which I know it shouldn't because it's a stupid throwaway comedy show. I will say, seeing the cameos, because this is an older show.
Yeah.
Like, I am reviewing an old as fuck show. Nobody gives a fuck about this show. It's just, I'm finally revisiting it after people shut the fuck about it. Plus, there's a new season, either just
Oh,
released
really?
or coming out. Yeah, we'll see. If, I guarantee fucking nothing on this one. If I had to rate it, this is a 3, dude.
It's higher than Mad God.
I mean, yeah, but it's to me. Again, disclaimer to fucking me. It's okay. It's not as good as IT Crowd, right? If we're talking about
Okay.
dry humor, hell, I wouldn't even call it. No, because that's not dry humor. I was gonna say like Father Ted, older British comedy.
Yeah, yeah, you showed me.
Yeah, where that show is like, I see they're pushing the envelope of their time because it's an older show.
Right.
I get what they're going to, but it's lost its luster, and
Right.
that's why I'm saying, like, I just think, to me, it's just not, it just doesn't hold up. But
All right.
there's that. Um,
Take that. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
for sure. But yeah, so I would like here live some tips on fucking Hades before I pull my hair out.
Um. So you will unlock other weapons.
Yep.
Other weapons will have very different play styles, and it might take you a little bit to unlock the one you actually want to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Different gods have different builds, even though a lot of it's luck of the draw. You will learn which builds are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And then obviously, because you have to do so many runs through the game, it really does just get easier with timing and everything because you're going to see the same enemies over and over again. So
Okay.
there's just there's a learning curve, but it's a learnable learning curve. And
Okay.
that's the game that I've not been playing straight through. I play Hades for a couple weeks, then I burn out on Hades, but then, after I beat another game or two, I go, fuck, I should pick Hades back up.
Yeah.
It's become like Hades and Slay the Spire are my travel games. If I'm on a plane or I'm going anywhere, it's almost always Hades or Slay the Spire because runs are so quick. You can pretty like even throw it in save state on the Switch,
Yeah.
and then just turn it off and pick it up. It's so easy to pick up, drop, do whatever you need to do.
And for me, my travel games are Diablo 3,
Sure.
and there's an airplane game. I've reviewed it on here.
Don't you need internet connection for Diablo 3?
No.
Oh, really? You can play it just local?
Yeah, well, you can play offline.
Oh.
You can just, all you're doing is replaying through the story. You can't do like any of the season stuff or all that.
The shit that I actually play. Okay.
Well, you play the seasonal shit? I usually just do the challenges and rifts and shit. I don't redraw a character for the season.
Oh yeah, but so you're saying you can even do like the what is it, mercenary mode or whatever the fuck they call it? You know what I'm talking about?
Is that the one where you just go around and do the missions?
Yeah. Like you don't play the story, it's just like go here, do this thing, go there, do that thing.
Yeah. Yes, that still works, but you don't get any of the online features and shit. But on the Switch,
online features.
on Switch, there really aren't that many.
Right.
Like, no, you can totally play
Oh,
offline.
I did not realize that.
Oh, I would have been pissed because it's not WoW. It's not a MMO.
Right. I just thought a lot of that was being generated by a server somewhere. I guess I didn't put together that it could handle doing it locally.
Well, yeah, because I believe like they might release it like weekly or something, or have some sort of schedule. It might just be.
Are we gonna end up
rotating
just
cycles.
playing fucking Diablo the whole time we're waiting in line for shit at Comic Con?
Maybe, yeah. I have to bring a big ass battery bank. The fucking Switch eats goddamn battery.
Oh, mine's not that bad.
Well, well, with the games I've been playing, it fucking like eats them.
Oh, that's fair. With Hades and Slay the Spire, it doesn't.
I was about to say, well, we'll see with Hades now, but Metroid fucking ate that fucking battery. It was nothing. But yeah.
Okay, so there's one more I wanted to talk about just because I think it's hysterical, and I think you're going to enjoy hearing about the movie, and you might even watch it.
Es posible, is it slice of life?
No.
Okay, then I'll probably watch it.
Let's get the oh crap, what's it called? The one with the kids that I gave you the weird link for?
Yep.
I'll know what the spontaneous.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were actually asking me the title of the thing you watched.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. Uh,
You piece of shit.
and now you get why I sent you the Google link that I did because that's how I found the movie. So, spontaneous. Spontaneous is at least labeled by, I think I watched it on Amazon. Don't hold me to what streaming service I watched it on, but I think it was Amazon.
Uh
Maybe it was Paramount. I don't know.
huh. At this point, we can't fucking.
Dude, I have
tell.
so fucking many of them. I don't know
it's
anymore.
so annoying. Don't get me started. Talk about the movie.
So it is labeled as a romantic horror comedy.
Okay.
And it is a movie about a young lady in her senior year of high school.
Okay.
And one day she's sitting in class, and the girl in front of her explodes.
Okay. Gorily explodes or like into dust of sorts.
Oh, into a big pile of blood. None of her clothes, none of her items, all of that is completely intact. She just explodes into gore all over the class.
Okay. Okay. As one does. Continue.
So they have, everybody's worried and trying to figure out what's happening and trying to finish senior year, and then someone else explodes.
Yeah.
And then someone else explodes. And then a couple more people explode. So then all the while she is becoming close with this guy that, he's had a crush on her since freshman year and never said anything. And now they're dating, and her best friend are making all these plans. And then the government comes in and they take all the kids and they put them in a fucking bubble and start running experiments on them and giving them different drugs to try and keep the kids from exploding. And they have to have a counter of like so many days since the explosion. So I guess you could call it slice of life.
If your life was that you might suddenly explode.
And that's sort of what the whole thing is. It's these kids having to deal with the fact that they might just, and it's only the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
None of the freshmen, none of the sophomore, none of the juniors
Okay.
have this issue. Nobody at any other school has this issue. They condemn the school, and kids still explode. Probably not that. And even the government admits that the pills that they finally came up with that they give the kids to keep them from exploding, it's more like a sleep button. It just delays the explosion for some unknown amount of time that could be forever, or it could not be forever.
Ah, okay.
So these kids all will explode. It's just a matter of when.
Okay.
So, do you feel like you'll watch it, or should I just cross full into spoiler territory?
Cross into spoiler territory, because even if I watch it, I'll watch it because of the visuals and
Fair, and it is
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking spectacular. So, sort of middle of the second act, maybe end of the second act, the boyfriend character that she is becoming very close with explodes
awesome. Perfect.
right in her face.
As they're making out.
As they are so glad that they were not part of this mass explosion that happened.
Oh,
And so right as
brutal.
as they are celebrating this, he explodes. And they do it in a great way. This is the one they don't do gory. They're doing like a shot, reverse shot, reverse shot of them talking. And then we're looking at him from her point of view, and the screen just turns red.
Ah, okay.
She wakes up in the hospital bleeding from her face, and it is actually her blood. A piece of his jaw apparently came off and slammed into her head and cut her head open. I will say, while this is probably the most interesting act to talk about, it's probably the least interesting act of the movie. But a big chunk, like I said, that like late second act, early third act is just sort of her breaking down.
Okay.
Most of their class is dead. Um, her and her best friend are still alive, but her boyfriend is dead. Everybody's just trying to cope in all these different ways. So, where her best friend takes the approach of, hey, I'm going to do whatever I can to graduate and leave this town and go try and live what little bit of my life I can before I fucking spontaneously combust. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to fuck boys. I'm just going to go live because I'm not going to get the chance to do that for very long. She kind of breaks down. She just starts living under her bed. She starts openly drinking, even though she's only 18, and nobody really has the heart to stop her because she's going to explode. She starts just shoplifting openly and brazenly, just like, taking whatever she wants and doing whatever she wants. We really just watch the character go through some shit.
Straight into apathy.
Yeah. Just no fucks. And what I love is by the end of the film, we don't find out why the kids explode.
Oh, I'm out.
Some think it's a curse. Some think it's a punishment from God. Some think it's an experiment. We don't say. And basically what she says is, I could die at any time, but that was always true even before people started exploding. You could always die at any time. And you're not always going to get the reason for why you died at that time. So it doesn't matter why we started exploding. The fact of the matter is, we fucking explode sometimes and die. So really the goal is to go out and just live your life. I like that they kind of wrapped it up. For me, and you said you were out. For me, I love that they don't explain why it happens.
I know.
Because with this particular ending, they're right. To explain it would really cheapen it. Like, legitimately, the movie would feel really cheap if we explained it.
The problem, though, is that that's always the reason when they do this in most films, when they're like, oh, we just don't explain it. If this was more the kind of horror than you and I talk about,
they specifically don't explain it to the point where they explain why they're not explaining it.
Okay.
The character does not want to know.
Pointing out that your movie is dumb does not make it less dumb.
I think it was the endings are hard, and this was the ending it needed, because again, the minute you explain it, there's a villain. And if there's a villain, there's blame. And the whole point of this was, even while she was breaking down and people weren't stopping her, she was still the dick.
Yeah.
So something bad happened to you. And somebody you cared about died. Guess the fuck what? Even if it wasn't from an explosion, you're gonna know people who die. You're going to. And again, you're not going. So the minute there was an explanation, we can go, oh, this is at fault. Even if it was an act of nature, we have something to blame. Without something to blame, the character has to stop and take a look at who she is and what she wants and what she's doing. The whole movie, there's this running thing where her and her best friend, when they were little, saw like 60-year-old tattooed women smoking a hookah on a beach. And they decided that was their life motto, right? Like they were working towards this day where they could just be these free ladies living and smoking hookah on a beach. But then like real life started. Graduation was happening and real life started and motherfuckers were exploding. And so what happened to the beach and what happens to me and what about my heart being broken and how is my life supposed to go on? Doesn't matter how it goes on. It's going on until it's not. So fucking shit or get off the pot. Do something. Either sit around and drink yourself to death, or own up to your shit, go out and experience the goddamn world. And she gives this great like monologue at the end that's all about how like she's going to go on. She's going to get jobs. She's going to meet other guys. She's going to fall in love again and again and again. And some days when she's really sad and really feels like talking, she'll tell the story of this guy that she really, really loved in high school who exploded right in front of her and cut her head open with a jawbone. But that's life. For me, it was very Babadook. Where Babadook, what is the monster? well, it's depression. And Babadook doesn't say it as bald faced as this one
Hmm.
does.
See,
But it becomes very clear at the end the Babadook is just depression. This is sort of that. This is, hey, you know what's gonna
and
suck? Life.
I'm glad you brought up Babadook because this is where it's losing me. Not just to be a straight out dick, but
Sure.
Babadook, I was okay that they didn't explain it, right?
Oh, and
Because
Babadook they do kind of.
yeah,
You get
yeah,
more in Babadook than you do here.
sure, you do, but it isn't just outright in your face. And if they were to say
Sure.
it in your face, it cheapens the
It
message,
it
right?
would if it really
One
was like
hundred
it's the
percent.
curse of depression, you'd
Yeah,
go, what the fuck is this?
exactly. So that's why, for me, I don't think this movie needed to do that. I
But
feel
but
like
but what do you say that caused it? That's going to give even close to that resolution of you need to go live your life even if you're not exploding.
I well, okay, two things. One, you got to give me a little bit more time, and two, because it doesn't sound like it was a bad movie. I don't want
No,
to
it was
sit
really
here.
fun.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and try to fix it, right?
Sure.
Like because I just don't think that's fair. I'm not shitting on it. I haven't seen it. I
You're a
just
piece of shit and you're hateful. Go on.
exactly. I have a very thin line of where not explaining the monster in films works for me. Like for me, it's the same thing as what sex scenes are now. Like if it forwards the plot and it makes sense, sure, let's go with it. Um, Otherwise, why the fuck? Why not? You're telling a story. I am here for you to tell me the story. I'd like a cohesive ending, or something. That's the only reason
I
I'm
do,
even
and this is what like this is just where we're gonna be at an impasse.
impasse,
Like
and that's okay.
I prefer. Yeah, it's funny that you bring up explain your monster. I kind of prefer it when they don't most of the time. Most of the time, why is there a monster? Because there's fucking monsters, bro. That's the
Hmm.
world, and that's very much what this was. Why are people exploding? I mean, fucking. Why did you bump your toe? Why is your neighbor a dick? Why does that baby keep crying?
I
It doesn't
mean,
matter.
it,
It fucking is.
it but context matters, of course, and there are causes for all of those things. You might not know
And
them,
there
but they
is a cause
exist.
for exploding. But did it matter to this character in this story? No. This
Okay.
character in this story didn't need the and it's not that like there was no reason for them exploding. They're clearly because the pills did snooze button their explosions. Like they went the longest stretch that they had ever gotten. They went like 3 months or something with no explosions.
Hmm.
Time lapse, big time lapse, obviously. So clearly there was some sort of biological thing that happened. But you know what? Didn't matter to this character. This wasn't the character who was going to do anything with that information other than what she was already going to do.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Again,
Well, I
it's
think
the
the
line.
audience, yeah, I'm seeing it's pouring in on the audience right now. Everybody agrees you're a big stupid idiot. So there's that. It's
I
fine.
mean, I don't need anybody to agree with that. Like, I've been through public education. I know. My counselors and teachers all said it. I blame my skin tone. Remember, it's not my fault.
Ah,
It's the skin.
that's right.
Um,
We'll try and scrub it real good when I see you next time.
real good.
Real good. We'll
Real
take a layer
good.
off.
Speaking of next time, we're right here at the end. Give it a rating.
Man, that 20 minutes that really dragged for me, I will say dinged this one pretty hard.
Mm.
Um, let's go with a weak 4. Maybe
Okay.
just like a 3.8, a 3.9,
Okay.
just under.
Okay. Fair.
Because there was a stretch of movie that like, and not even for, you know, something like something that didn't. There was just a stretch of movie that was just kind of weak and
Hmm.
uninteresting. It just went on a little too long for me, and that hurt it.
So it sounds like guy you went on a date with was fine, was good company, but he was kind of a dick to the waiter.
Right. I still went back and gave him a hand job afterwards, but I don't know about a phone call.
Exactly right. Like not long term. I understand. I totally get it. Um, all right. Now for real, speaking of the next time that we see each other, reminding folks it's going to be the live. I'm probably thinking Friday because it's the one that we have less to do. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, I
yeah,
mean, well, actually, did you see? I did send you a list of all the panels we wanted to hit, and there are 2 days. We actually want to try and hit late night panels this time,
okay, for sure. There
whether
are.
you're down or not, whatever. But
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll definitely figure out our schedule. I'm not talking about it here because I don't
yeah,
trust any of these motherfuckers.
no,
I'm just saying. Yeah, there's some panels like off site that I might actually end up hitting this time.
okay.
But yeah, we'll definitely share notes. I am kind of disappointed in some of the lineups. I think it's probably because it's the first post, that thing I can't talk about because it'll get fucking lockdown sickness.
Post viral infection.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe it's just a lot of folks didn't want to come. I'm hoping the floor is good. I I kind of wish it's a little less crowded than most years, but we'll see.
See, I keep thinking it will be. Brooke thinks it won't be.
See, I'm split. The problem though is that I feel like the folks that are gonna rush to come back to this thing are the folks that were douchebags throughout this whole process because they didn't give a fuck
They're already
anyways.
big in the comment sections and very anti coming back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's end this so you and I can actually talk some Comic Con plans.
All
Play us
right.
out.
On that note, check us out Monday nights in 5D podcast on YouTube. Also, Tuesdays doing twitch.tv/Metagame Network. That is the multiplayer night where we play with a bunch of kind of the folks that we've gathered up over the years here.
Bunch of rowdy hosers.
Exactly. Next week, there will not be a Monday pod because Comic Con week.
Travel and
travel
whatever, yeah.
and whatnot. And then that Tuesday stream is also not going to happen because I am not taking my gaming rig with me. It is bigger than both my dogs. Just putting that out there. It looks like an attack helicopter too. If you want to check that out, hit me up on the Discord. Final words, Bonsai.
No.
Okay. Lively as always. Bye.
Bye.